Hi everyone, hello and welcome to the Just Ride Snowboard channel. I'm Lars Horstman, and on the tuning bench is the Jones Freecarver 9000. This is not supposed to become a review channel. I'll say this right up front here, but every now and then I'm being given the opportunity to try boards that are either really hyped and I'm curious about them, or that are really unique. And that's always a cool thing. I've ridden about 140 to 150 snowboards in the last 15 years. So yeah, I really enjoy this. And this was given to me by one of my YouTube subscribers. Thank you, Scott Harold, at this point here. He's from Toronto. He came to Fernie to snowboard, and we are basically swapping snowboards tomorrow. So I have a good reference. I'm giving this my standard tune. The board came from the factory with just a little bit more than 1 degree base bevel, just to annoy those people again that keep telling me how their board doesn't have a base bevel because the Jones website is stating so. It is not true. This is about the third Jones in the last few weeks that clearly has a little bit more than 1 degree base bevel. And it came from the factory with an 89 degree side edge, which I turned into an 88 degree side edge since it's a carving board and we are in a melt-free cycle with really firm groomers in the morning. I want a bit more grip, and Scott doesn't mind me tuning the board. So here it is, Jones Freecarver 9000. I'm really curious to ride this thing and stay on here to see what's happening next. All right, beautiful Tuesday morning, Fernie Alpine Resort, and here I am with Scott.
Hi, good morning.
This is Scott Harold from Toronto, YouTube subscriber of my channel, and we are swapping snowboards. We got him on the Stranda Cheater 170 standard width, and I am on the Jones Freecarver 9000 in a 1.56 m. So the 156 Freecarver that I'm on here is a 1.30 m effective edge, and the 170 Cheater is a 1.43 effective edge. So if you add the 13 centimeters effective edge to the overall length of the Freecarver, you're ending up with a 169. And just so that's pretty much relatively a similar proportion on each board. And just for the people who don't understand these relations, when you look at this Freecarver 156 with a 130 effective edge, the Jones flagship 172 actually has 12 millimeters less effective edge. So you see, Jones really shoved a lot of edge into a tiny package. So did Stranda, although they opted for 170, which is a little bit, it's probably a little bit more of an appropriate carving length to go longer for simply even more effective edge. All right, Scott.
Lars.
Thanks for coming out. This is great.
This is awesome. I look forward to it, yeah.
Cool. How long have you had this Freecarver for?
So I've been riding it only for 1 season. This is my first full season riding it. So I came off a GNU Gremlin, so I noticed a big difference just in the stiffness and just the effective edge on this. Yeah.
Cool.
I've had fun with it this season so far. This is the first time on a big mountain with it. So
yeah.
I've noticed some differences for sure.
Just for our viewers, what's your specs? How tall and how heavy are you?
I'm about 5'10", 160.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Scott and I are pretty much same height. He's maybe a half an inch taller than me. I top out at 136 pounds at the moment, so I'm a little light.
I put a few pounds on this trip, maybe.
All right, 160. Yeah, you know what? Like, you are probably in a much more appropriate spot for this board. So the weight range stated, I checked this last night. The weight range on the Freecarver states 130 to 180. It's a huge weight range.
Yeah.
So I'm at the bottom of it. You're in the middle of it. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Is that your first board that you've bought that was supposed to be more carving specific?
It is. It is. I mean, I bought the GNU Gremlin initially with the intention of carving on it as my first carver.
Which length?
155.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I enjoyed it, but after a few, and that was when I was just starting, I just found it a bit whippy. I just wanted to go to a longer turn radius, and this sort of fit the bill at the time when I was looking for it. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have, it is April 2nd, so it's not an April Fool's type scenario. We are serious with what we're doing. We have a bit of a melt-free cycle. This is going to be, we are literally on the first chair, and this is going to be both our first run on each of these boards. We'll film each other, and we'll talk to you on our next chairlift ride again. Let's figure this out. You can see here quite well how the board has quite some torsional flex, and also how longitudinally it flexes much more in the center than it does in the tips. This little test is something I do with every new board I ride. I do that right by the chairlift just to get a bit of an idea. This was a pretty poor first run, because what I had to realize is that it actually didn't freeze overnight. So we are riding slush, and it's really soft. So this whole 88-degree edge tune thing and all this jazz kind of goes out of the window right here. My first impression of the Freecarver is it's light. Holy cow, it's so light. I'm also not used to riding 156 carving boards, so that's a different thing. I do find weight is a little confidence inspiring when you actually put boards on edge. So I'll have to get used to the very maneuverable, quick feel underfoot coming from the weight. Has nothing to do with the radius. And otherwise, the board feels quite soft in the center when I put it on edge, which is surprising to me for a carving board. I wish I had better conditions to give you a better opinion. What do you think, Scott?
For my first ride, I think the biggest thing I'm noticing is just the length, the extra 15 centimeters. But no, it felt very stable. Like you said, it was soft, so it's hard to really gauge what's going on there. But yeah, no, it's I like it.
Cool. We're gonna try to find a better groomer, something that doesn't get all that much sun during the day, and hopefully it's a bit firmer. We'll see you here in a second. Found a nice groomer, soft but kind of more wintry snow, not slushy at all. And my take on the Freecarver 9000 is the edge grip is really good. Like in that kind of snow, it's kind of hard to tell because the conditions didn't really put a limit to it. The board is very lively. It's very kind of explosive edge to edge. I kind of attribute that to the torsional flex it has. Like it's quite a bit softer torsionally than what I am used to. What I did notice when I hit some firmer patches, some icier patches on a narrow cat tracky kind of run, is that I prefer tips that bend a little bit more. I found like the nose didn't really engage with the firm snow as much as I'm used to and as much as I would like to be confident. But I guess that's a flex pattern thing. And if you have a board that is torsionally softer like this one here, you need stiffer tips because otherwise the whole thing is just soft. And I'm used to a beefier center and then tips that flex more into the turn. And I personally feel more confident on those flexes. However, Freecarver, for me, a lot of fun. I think it's cool that they packed this much edge into a 156. So you do have a lot of edge and support in that regard. I wish it had a different flex, but there will be a reason behind it that Jones may be able to explain to us. What did you think about carving on the Cheater, Scott?
Cheater. I enjoyed it. Definitely a different feel from the Freecarver, and as we talked about, the flex pattern I think is what's different for me. It's just stiffer and harder for me, and part of it might be my technique too, to initiate edge turn. So especially on some of the steeper pieces that I'm not frequently riding in Toronto, I feel rushed, and maybe my technique isn't the best, that I'm using more my upper body. This, on the Freecarver, I feel like I can engage quicker, and that's what I'm noticing.
That makes sense.
Yeah. On the flats, where I feel more confident on this particular board, I feel once it's locked in, it's beautiful. Yeah, I feel it as a stiffer board for sure.
Yeah, cool. This is really valuable input. So what Scott is describing is basically what I just tried to say as well. If you have a board with a stiffer center, which turns out to be a torsionally stiffer flex, that is a flex pattern that contributes to edge grip in regards to there's less deflection throughout the turn once you are on edge, and it really locks you in. However, the downfall of lack of torsional flex is always that you can't steer those boards very well through the feet. And that can then eventually turn into that sensation of, it engages a little bit later. That's because you can't engage the edge with these micro foot movements. You actually really have to flex your ankles and knees and let the hip cross the board early in the turn to get it on edge. And I think when I watch Scott ride the board, I think I can even see that. That basically he's relying less on that hip engagement early in the turn, but on his feet. And that would totally make sense then, that he finds the Freecarver to be somewhat quicker and easier to edge.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. We'll do a few more runs here, and then we will probably swap back and make a little clip of that as well. Scott's back home on the Freecarver. So we are back on a chairlift, and we swapped back as you saw earlier. And here's our verdict on those two boards on this medium soft lumpy spring day. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, switching back, I'm obviously more comfortable on my own board that I've been riding for a season, but I do find that I have an earlier turn initiation on this board. And just greater confidence that it's gonna, to me it feels like it engages quicker. After riding your Stranda, this is more flexible. I noticed torsionally it's not as stiff. And again, just as the first time I've ridden sort of big mountain with this board. The other thing would be riding off groomers. The width of this board I just noticed compared to riding my smaller GNU Gremlin, it's just more of a workout on my ankles and stuff like that. Maybe too much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
270, so for reference, that's a 270 millimeter waist width, and Scott is a size 9 boot. And for a carving board, that's probably pretty cool for him because he can really lay it over. For an all mountain waist width, that is probably pushing it, just for the reference.
Yeah. But no, riding both boards are fun. I definitely would like to ride the Stranda more and just get a feel for it. I think just for me, the confidence isn't there. It just feels, for me, it's engaging slower. And there's a lot of factors that play into that. My technique and the terrain that I normally don't ride and whatnot. But yeah, it's a great experience.
Cool. Nice. That's all we wanted, a great experience. I think my last take, I've kind of said everything already. I'm gonna talk about a couple other things here. Jones, very fast base, that was cool. I did wax it last night as well, but like anyways, you can tell the base is very hard, it's very dense, very fast. That's cool. Really what bugs me personally, and that is very much a personal thing and depends on what you want for a carving board, is the flex pattern. What I notice is so the Jones wins in regards to versatility. The board is easier to steer in bumpy snow through the feet when I'm actually not carving. Like we just did a run, very bumpy and spring snow, like fairly large lumps everywhere. And I felt much more comfortable steering that board. Now you may say, well, that's obvious, Lars, it's a 156 and your Cheater is a 170. That's not what I'm perceiving. I mean literally the work I can put into the board straight through my feet, through torsional twist, working through my ankles and knees and directing pressure across the board to the soles of my feet. I cannot do that very well or barely at all on the Cheater. But that is the thing. This is what I don't understand. It is called the Freecarver, and I want to say, if it's meant to be a dedicated carving board, that the flex is basically like making the board more versatile. I personally find that pointless because, like, well, if you want a carving board, you're probably not gonna go, you know, off-piste, bumpy stuff with it. You just want that board that crushes his own groomers. And for me, the Freecarver did that on the good groomers. As soon as things got lumpy, bumpy, my Cheater feels way more confidence inspiring because the flex pattern allows for the board to absorb chatter in the tips or in the tip, the nose, while keeping the center super stable and locked in. And I did experience on my last run, you could probably see that, I experienced way less bounciness of the board. I felt way more confident over the edge, simply because that softer nose gives the board more dampening than I got from the Freecarver. So at the end of the day, I want to say they're both two great carving boards. If you are quite dedicated in your choice of a carving board, the Cheater might win the game for you. If you want a board that is so very nimble, the 9000 for claiming 9.20 m radius, which it obviously has, it steers really quick, like even shorter skidded turns due to the torsional softness, super easy. So if you want that versatile carver, the Freecarver definitely wins this game. Obviously also because it comes in a range of different sizes, where the Cheater is 170 or 170 wide. That's all your options. So there's more dedication with Stranda here. Yeah, so basically it ends up to be a pick your poison type of scenario. My goal with this was, I'm stoked that Scott came out and actually was up for this little video that we made here today. And he was up for letting me ride his board. And yeah, that means a lot to me. Thank you very much, Scott.
That was super fun. It was an honor. Yeah.
Cool,
man. It was a great day.
High fives.
Right on.
Take care.